Hi everyone, welcome to Filling Sisters with Sal. Today we are graced by two lovely, gorgeous ladies over here, which they will be sharing us, it's like their road to being an empowered Filling Sister. They're gonna be sharing us with their stories. So I want you guys to sit down out there, drink your tea, because they'll be sharing us their transformative life. So we're here. So let's have first with Sarah. So tell us, your what you do and right now where you are in your life.
My name is Sarah. I am a life coach and a communication specialist. I help teenagers talk to their parents, and I help any child talk to their parent and mediate between them, teach them how to communicate.
Yeah. And then, it's like as far as like you when you got this, is this a calling of yours?
Yeah, it is. I have 4 children, and I had twins at the end, and I couldn't get them in their car seat. So I needed to learn how to do something different, change my mindset, and I decided to share it.
Oh, lovely. Yeah. Okay, so that's Sarah, guys. Okay, and let's welcome Zahra.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you guys have same sound of names.
Yeah.
So Zahra over here.
Yes,
So tell us something
yes.
about yourself, Zahra.
Okay, well, I work in healthcare.
Okay.
And I'm an empath type person, and I would help lots of people chairside. I'm a dental hygienist, and a dentist recommended that I become a health coach, so that way I can use all of my skills and help people to live their best life.
Wow, very interesting. I think in this room, everybody here likes to fix other people.
Yeah.
Now, of course, when you're fixing other people, there are some
Yes.
cracks, on our own personal life. Okay, and I feel like that's where we can help other people who's watching us right now. As far as like sharing, let's start first with Sarah. As far as before you went to it's like helping other people as a counselor, as a coach. Tell us a little bit, as a backstory of of your own awakening towards helping. Because I'm pretty sure you have a story for us to tell.
Yeah.
I do. I was married for 17 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And right around
Okay, I would need some shots. Okay.
yeah, so right around 12 years, my husband told me, I think your past is kind of rearing to the surface. So I was, sexually abused when I was young, and my mother passed away. And I've never had the victim mentality. I always kind of tried to be just better, always self-reflecting. And then there's just this moment where everything kind of came to surface. And so I had to really dive in deep, and I didn't have an avoidance of my past. I just really didn't feel it was necessary. But it did seem that I was lacking self-love and that I needed to get back to myself and who I was. And
When you were at that point, when it was surfacing, so how did the family deal with it?
my family of the abuse.
Your husband.
Oh, he was kind of supportive, not supportive as in I'll help you through it, just kind of his personality is calm, so he would just kind of like take care of your stuff and I'll pay for it,
Okay.
go to therapy, do what you need to do. But I found that the therapist really wanted to dive deep into, like, my background is psychology, but this therapist really wanted to dive deep into the trauma and kind of keep me there. And it was suffocating. Like, I really felt.
So the emotional support that you were in need at that time, was it through therapy that you got
It was through therapy. It wasn't through people around me. I always felt alone.
Okay.
Until later on, one of my best friends would kind of remind me of who I was, and I wasn't my behaviors.
I see. So when that wasn't coming to surface,
Yeah.
and then now that you went into therapy, how did that help you? Was it something that you went through rigorously?
Yes,
Or,
yes. I paid a lot of money, and I was dedicated to it. I read a lot of books, but it wasn't until I learned how to communicate how I felt and what I needed that I was able to get free of the actual heavy therapy,
I see.
of reliving over and over again the trauma, and kind of gave me a fresh outlook.
I see.
You
So it was
know,
the communication
it was the
helped
communication.
a lot.
Yeah, I saw a life coach and we had all these goals and I never could complete my goals. And then when I learned how to communicate, I looked back and every single one of those goals were met. Like the weight, the working out, everything that I really wanted was really manifesting.
Right, because that is the most significant thing, especially as a relationship.
Yeah.
You know, it's like the communication. You know, those are the things that, if it's secure, one thing. If it's honest,
Yeah.
we know that. Okay. So those things help. You know, a loving marriage. You know, a loving relationship.
Well, communicating without triggering the ego. So I
Yes.
teach like saying, I feel hurt and, discouraged because I'm needing respect. It like eliminates last week you did this,
Right.
or 10 years you've been doing the same thing. So it really lets the person listen.
I like that because it means that ego is one of
Yeah.
one of the blockages in relationship.
Big
Like
block.
when I teach, I always say, it's like if people are not familiar, death to ego is birth to love, and then in essence, like that's you're in the same path. It's like ego is really a blockage in a certain like in relationship, especially.
Yeah, and ego really makes behaviors happen. So if I'm only looking at your behavior, I have to see past your behavior to see who you really are. Otherwise, it's just two egos kind of having at it,
Clashing.
and we're just sitting back,
Yes.
watching this, gladiator show.
So let's ask Zahra over here. So
Yeah.
Zahra, it's your turn. Okay.
turn, hi.
So tell us, it's like your journey. You're in the
Yeah.
health profession.
Yes.
And then those little cracks that you have dealt with.
Yes, I'm in the health industry. However, I'm transitioning out of that to just honor my calling. Okay, so my true calling, I'm an empath, and I kind of instinctively know kind of what people need to live their best life in a way. It's hard to explain. So I was also in a marriage for 20 years this
Okay,
year.
double shots now. Double shots.
Yes. And I, had a lot of luxuries in that relationship. Lots of traveling, beautiful homes, experienced a lot of finer things in life.
Wow.
However, there was a missing link in that relationship. I, have always been like an entrepreneur in that, and my ex-husband never really supported my goals and my dreams. So therefore, my energy and my creative expression was suppressed throughout the years. I have a 22-year-old now young man son. He's an artist, and so I was able to use my creativity with him, and give him space and encourage his artistic abilities. So fast forward. So through being in a, I guess, abusive marriage, I was able to take all of these different experiences and transform them into positives. Traumatic experiences, I became a yoga teacher. So I immersed myself in yoga, traditional training, and had a year of immersion and learned about yoga.
Okay.
And then now I'm an integrative health coach. So I have a lot of gifts that I can share with people that have come from traumatic backgrounds.
So yoga was one of those significant things that
Yeah.
that help you anchor yourself to helping other people, and as far as like also in with health and coaching. So that's very good because we have one Sarah's story here sharing us that it's like through therapy, and then on your end it's like it was also your son. It's like you
Yes.
were able to help him to become an artist, and then as far as like your own calling is
Yes.
helping other people, and then yoga was one of the
Yes.
instrument. My instrument is donuts. So it's very easy. It's Randy's. I postmated. I
Yeah.
call people. So I was like, I need my calling today.
Yeah.
But kidding aside, it's like I just love to see that both of you are smiling, considering it's like everybody has a story. It's like behind all these smiles,
Yes,
right?
yes.
Everybody, we put on this mask. Okay, it's like an hour for the ladies to be such gorgeous. Okay, Sal takes 2 hours because there's a lot of repair.
Yeah.
So but the smiles that I'm seeing,
Yeah.
between the two of you right now, I want to know what makes you smile. Like Sarah, for example, right now, what makes you smile after that 17-year marriage, things surfacing? Give us, it's like, what is the reason for you to smile now?
Well, there's a lot of reasons to smile. One, I'm sitting here with you.
Thank you.
And really when you give, you receive. And I really feel since sometimes you're not feeling okay and you don't know what to do. And sometimes the only thing to do is give, and I always feel that. Another thing is really self-love. Since my dad used to say, you can't love anyone if you don't love yourself. And everyone talks about self-love, but what does that really mean, And so it wasn't until 3 years ago through faith, I was able to really feel loved.
I like that. What is this faith about?
Okay,
I want to hear. We're here for that, right?
Well, I mean, it was really through faith, through religion. I converted and I was baptized, and I really felt clean. And in that cleansing process, I started to come from a different platform. So from being loved and being clean, I would make decisions not from guilt and not through shame. Any decision from shame is going to be, kind of snowballing, and you find yourself in this place where you're like, how did I get here? But when you're coming from love, every decision you make is just love. And I really feel that. So after the first year, I still had the same behaviors of not having self-love because they were kind of residual behaviors.
Right.
But then after my thinking really changed and said, wow, I really am clean, then I really started to see my thoughts and my actions and how I felt about myself were the same. And that's true happiness.
That's very strong because it's like, once we free ourselves from guilt.
Guilt. It's guilt.
It's guilt that it's like that makes us, hide ourselves into our little closet inside that, inside our heart where we cannot express love anymore because, it's like we put that barriers in front of us because of guilt. And it's very interesting that it's like, it's so nice to hear from you that, it's like through faith, it's like you were able to release that.
Yeah, so release it, and it's through faith, and it's, I've been coaching people for years, even when my life was a mess. They say the carpenter's door is always broken.
Yes, the salon does not fix their hair.
Yeah. So a lot of people say, how can she be a life coach if her life is a mess? But really, I had gathered tools from all over the world, from London, from Dubai, from all these places. But I was teaching people who already loved themselves. And either it was through faith or through the universe or through source energy, whatever you call it, they had some kind of self-love. So the tools I would teach them would work. Or for me, I didn't have that self-love. So I had all these tools and I couldn't apply it. But it really, for me, my own personal experience was through faith. Through faith in a higher person.
That is very nice. Now,
beautiful.
Zahra, your smile. So tell us, so 20 years, okay?
Yes.
And then now that you're practicing your yoga and then as a healthcare, a person right now that you're helping other people, tell us what's the reason why you smile now.
Okay, so the reason why I'm smiling now is because I'm choosing to live my best life. So I would always give to others.
Let me pause you that.
Yeah.
Best life.
Best life.
There you go. You have best life. All right.
Yeah, it's a choice. I'm choosing it. So I would always give to others, and I would put my needs on the back burner, and I would find my joy in giving to others. So it was never a negative for me. It was always a positive, even though in my relationship there was always that underlying current of not being validated, wondering why in the world my husband would lavish me with all these gifts but not give me love the way that I needed love. I would always give to others, but now I'm choosing to give to myself. So that makes me happy. That makes me smile. So I am choosing different things that I haven't done before and just venturing out in life and just opening up and taking care of myself.
So, so for the people who's watching, okay, like ask yourself also. It's just like what is something that it's like for you, taking care of yourself because definitely with whatever Zahra is doing, it's working for her. Okay? So it's very lovely. Like it's like for. Of because it's like the ladies are the yin,
Yes.
okay, of in as far as like energy. So it's really the giver, and at the same time, the one that needs the support, And as far as like both are both it's like was in relationship and in marriage in union.
Yes.
It's like those were the the masculine energy is that the whole provider, basically the whole protector. But there are times where it's like that doesn't meet the needs of the yin side, because it's like there are tendencies like there can be someone who keeps taking from the love, from the like the care that it's like moms give. I mean, like taking care of kids and the relationship. You're talking about it's like Mrs. Doubtfire, right? Like you have to be wearing multiple what they call costumes. It's like, or it's like today I'm a mom, tomorrow I'm this. I have it's like you have your career, which it's like I see that you guys are thriving. Which it's like for the people who's watching here, it's like they're unstoppable. Now. As far as like us giving us this energy to the people who's watching, if there's any message that let's start
Yes.
first with Zahra.
Okay.
Okay, let's start with Zahra. Let's break it's like the momentum. So anything that you would like to share
Yes.
to whoever has gone through the same situation as
Okay.
someone who's like well provided. Okay,
Yes.
so we know there was coins involved.
Yeah.
Okay? There was coins, but she was looking for the cups.
Yeah.
Okay, and it's like those come in equality. Right? so I want to know what can you share with with people who are in that same
Yes.
scenario.
So what I would say is don't give up hope. Believe in yourself, and just seek out help if you're in an abusive relationship, and it's never your fault if the person that you're giving to is not reciprocating love the way that you need it. I think that's a good thing. Seek out inspiration. Actually, YouTube has been an amazing inspiration for me, actually. During some of like the darkest moments in my relationship and marriage, I would watch different things on YouTube, and it inspired me.
That's very nice.
Support.
Like, it's like, asking for help. It's hard to, it's like to come out of a shell because, like, normally, asking for help, it takes a lot more courage, because you're putting yourself out there that I'm here, I'm
Yes.
vulnerable, and I need someone's support.
Exactly.
So that's one thing that Zahra was, was giving to, as a message to anyone
Yes.
who's watching there. Now, for Sarah over here, anything that you want to share as far as like your story when things, it's like starts to surface, what message that you want to give us to the people who are watching?
I would like to say, well, I call myself the reminder girl, and I just thought it was more that I want to remind you of what you already know, that you know your worth, that you know your essence and who you are, and what role you play in the universe. And I think if more people reminded us of who we were at all times, no matter what our behavior was currently, remember who you were 20 years ago or last month or last year. And I just don't want anyone to feel alone on this journey.
There you go. So, one, you're never alone, okay? And remind yourself. Because where you're at right now, it's like it's something significant from, if you remember where you were before, then you know where you're anchoring yourself, moving towards, your future. So I want to thank you, both lovely ladies,
you.
okay,
Thank
for
you.
gracing us with your presence. And as with Feeling Sisters with Sal, I just, it's like for today, we've learned that behind our smiles, there are frowns. And as any frown, we can always flip that emoji with not with a couple of shots, okay, but with a couple of people that we can ask for help. And help is always out there. And that's why we have this channel. So I will see you guys again in the next episodes of Feeling Sisters with Sal. Ladies, thank you very,
Oh,
thank you
thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you.
And hope to see you guys again. Bye.